And with that, let's start the study session for Wednesday, November 11, 2020, Veterans Day. We'll start right off with public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to address council during the public comment period? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment period. We are, in addition to having the study session tonight, we are having a special city council meeting. The only item that we're going to be dealing with during that special city council meeting will be a closed door session to review 2 written legal opinions with the city attorney, to review a potential property acquisition and confidential commercial information. But the first thing we need to do is we need to have a motion to enter a special city council meeting. What is the pleasure of council?
So moved.
We've got a motion by Trethewey. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Hoekstra. Any discussion? Do we need to do a roll call on this one, Ron? Yes, we do. Let's do a roll call vote. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Peters.
Here.
Garcia. Trethewey.
Yes.
Arnshorst.
Yes.
Corbin. Hoekstra.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes.
We
And
have a
that
quorum.
does raise one question. Do we need to do a roll call to make sure that we have a quorum for the regular meeting? All right, we'll call that the roll call then, that we have a quorum here as well. Now I would entertain a motion to enter a closed door session to review the 2 written legal opinions and review potential property acquisition and confidential commercial information. Pleasure of council. Moved by Trethewey. Is there support? Support by Hoekstra. Any discussion? Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Trethewey.
Yes.
Arnshorst.
Yes.
Corbin. Hoekstra.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Peters. Mayor Box.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We're going to be in closed session. The video will be stopping at this point, and we're just going to wait until that's done, and then we'll start our closed session. Let's start right back at the beginning. We are back into our study session, and the item on our study session that we're going to be talking about is rules of council, and I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem, also our Chief Governance Officer, Mike Trethewey. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll do it right this time. About a year ago, November 20 of 2019, we passed the rules of council, which we do basically every couple of years, or at least look at them. And as explained at that point, it's a living document, and at certain times, or there are certain things that come up that we might need to refine. What is going to be proposed to you this evening, very briefly, is in Chapter 4, items number 6 and 6.1, and in Chapter 5, items 7.2 and 7.4. There is just some clarification language that we're going to be inserting in that. Obviously, we can't vote on that tonight, but this is what is being proposed, and there'll be opportunity for questions afterwards.
And
Mr. City Attorney?
I was gonna ask to clarify the process that we would need to go through with this. My understanding is we need to have a motion at a regular meeting
To adopt these.
to adopt these, but it's like adopting an ordinance that it actually takes 2 meetings for us to do that. Is that correct, Ron?
Yeah, that's right. Notice of the proposed amendments have to be given in a regular session, a regular meeting, not a special meeting, and then voted on at the next meeting. It does take a 2/3 vote to adopt a change of the rules.
Because this is a policy, and that's why it takes the 2/3. Now, you might also explain, Ron, that typically, well, the rules of council, we did not go through 2 because it's at the end of the term and we're starting over again. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a requirement in the charter, but it's been traditional that at the beginning of each term of council, right after the election, city election, that council would review the rules and adopt any amendments that are desired at that point. And that was done last November.
November 20th, and that's the only difference between then and now, and that's why we have to go through the 2-step process now. Okay, just point of clarification there. Thanks, Ron. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you have on the screen there the items. We were asked to draft some language that would go in 6.1 and 7.4 that talk about civility. And then also in the process of doing that, I noticed that there are a couple little cleanup items for 7.2 that would be important. We have the 3-minute rule for study sessions for public comment, but that's never been in the rules. And so it's been just sort of something that's there, and to be able to live by that rule, we really need that in the rules.
So in a nutshell, it's just some cleanup language, some, specifically with 6.1, just some more definition to what was on there. We have had some potentially, how do I put this politically correct? We had some opportunities in the past that there may have been issues, and we just want to make sure that we have these on our rules of council before we actually have to technically address. I mean, it's come very close a couple of times, so we just felt it necessary at this point to make these part of the rules.
And 6.1 and 7.4 align with our priority of civil discourse.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Which was one of our goals this year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Other questions, comments, Dave?
So we have to be nice to each other outside of meetings too?
Wow.
If there's more than 2.
Oh, okay. So if it's one-on-one, we can just go for it.
Exactly.
I got it.
All right, any other questions or comments?
No, I think this is an elegant
All right,
solution.
I think that, because we can't do anything with this at this point, this would need to come in the form of a motion or put on the agenda of a regular council meeting to move forward at that point.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
In regard to.
Speaking civilly, certainly.
Hey, thank you, I appreciate it.
And you're very good looking this evening, and I like your hair.
Because I have a mask on, you can't see the reality of what's there.
I think it means we need to be complimented.
In light of what's happened in a couple of our most recent meetings where there's been a disruption, I think the language, as I've read it here somewhere, says that you can rebuke the person or persons creating a disturbance and they shall sit down and conduct themselves in an orderly fashion. If that doesn't occur, as we've seen in the past, have our past actions been covered under some rules or prerogatives somewhere? Or is that something that we should address on the rules of council as
No,
well?
Robert's
It's-
rules allows the leader of the meeting.
Mike,
Mike,
you gotta lean into it.
I'll talk louder.
That's a first.
Robert's rules allows the leader of the meeting to recess at any point, which is what happened a couple of weeks ago.
okay.
If the meeting is not to be able to be carried on, if the request is made to come to order and that's ignored, Robert's rules allows that to happen, so.
If Robert says so, I'm cool with it. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Great.
I'll lean on Ron to help with the noticing and all that kind of stuff, so look for that on upcoming meetings.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks a lot, Ron, for your work on
You-
this, I appreciate it.
You are correct, that was almost 5 minutes. That's pretty good. All right, any other items? Otherwise, nope, everybody's, all right, then let's head home. We don't need a motion to adjourn because we're in a study session. Thank you all.